Oh, good morning from St. Louis, Missouri this morning, where it's probably 38 degrees. It has been foggy the last couple days. I am waiting for that first snow. There's nothing like a first snow that blankets everything and everything becomes very quiet, and there seems to be a peace that transcends across your city, your state, your mental health. It's a wonderful feeling when there's that first snow. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Kitryn Marie. I reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an artist, a writer, speaker, life and a business coach. Been trying to reposition like lighting and tripods, and have been on my laptop this morning trying to figure out if I have a recording system in my laptop, because somebody had said, well, just go to your camera setting and then you have a record. And I'm thinking, no, I don't have one of those kind of laptops. And if anybody who knows me, I'm all about the gadget and trying to find the latest and the greatest that's going to help, make my job a little bit easier. How you doing on your Christmas shopping? Have you started yet? I was out yesterday. I've had 2 days off, and then I do another 5, 6 in a row, I believe. But I had yesterday off, and I decided I was going to attempt to do some Christmas shopping. I am not a shopper. In fact, this year I can probably say, other than my grocery store and my Ruby feed store, I have not been to any stores to do any shopping. I'm not really a shopper. I did make myself go to Walmart about 2 weeks ago because I had to get some things that I knew that Walmart would have, and I had to gear myself up to go into Walmart. Do you have a yellow person? Switch subjects a little bit. A yellow person is somebody that you can rely on to run your errands with. A yellow person is somebody that you can call and say, hey, I got some things I need to go do. Do you want to go with me? This year I don't have a yellow person, so I had to gear myself up to go into Walmart and buy a few incidentals that were needed. And I got through and I did really well. And I thought, you know what, tackling Christmas shouldn't be too bad. So yesterday I had went to a couple different stores. I had to gear my mind because I didn't know what I was going to have to face, because this time of year triggers so many different things and so many different people. And I had to even put myself in check and ask myself, where am I mentally this year for the holiday? Hold on. I have said, and I repeat myself, I have my own triggers at Christmas time. But this year it seems to be a little different. There have been no big upheavals of temperaments. I'm not having to deal with anger. I'm not having to deal with hostile moments and feelings towards a holiday. And therefore I am living in my joy, in my core being of who I am, really, really just taking in the sights and the lights and the sounds. And I've been working so much that I think I'm distracted a little bit too. But my customers seem to be a little bit more generous, which is pleasant, and they love my nonsense and my useless conversation. But yesterday, excuse me, I got sinus stuff going on. Yesterday, when I was out, running from store to store to store, I was able to pull right in to a parking spot. Everybody that I came in contact with was really pleasant and nice. And, it was a Merry Christmas, not a Happy Holiday. It was just really, really nice. And I have been studying, things about the brain and about personality disorders. And when I got home yesterday, I wanted to look some things up to kind of, where's my wording in this? Trying to understand behavior and anger a little bit more this time of year. Oftentimes, adults who have had traumatic childhoods that they have been ignored in their feelings and they've been pushed aside, where the child has not been taught to properly deal with being abandoned or having anger issues, they become defiant as an adult. Now I'm going to try to read something to you because I got my laptop up because it made me stop and think about the last 12 years and what I have had to come in contact with in regards to emotions during the holidays, knowing that there has been a significant amount of people that share the same type addictions. And I'll let you read between the lines on that. But adults with oppositional defiant disorder display a pattern of negative, hostile, and defiant behavior. Now everyone knows what defiant means. That can last during a season and can be triggered for at least 6 months out of a year. So if you want to consider like when the weather changes and people have to deal with, time change and weather change and it gets dark earlier or it's dark in the morning when they get up. These defiant disorders usually have the following character traits: often loses temper, often argues with family or co-workers, actively defies or refuses to comply with rules and laws. Now, depending on who it is that you are dealing with in your close immediate, you would have to consider what triggers that type of behavior. And when it comes to Christmas, why is it within the person that they don't like the holiday? We can all agree that Christmas is rather costly. We can agree that it has become very commercialized. That, big box stores, this is the time of year where they make all their money, and because of who we are being governed by right now, it has really hit our pocketbooks, and the stress of Christmas and finances, it always puts a damper in things. And I apologize, I'm falling over my words because I wasn't real sure how I was going to discuss this issue. But the more that I study about the brain and personality disorders, it is becoming clearer and clearer to me why people act the way that they do when it comes to this time of year. So also, some of these symptoms of these defiant disorders in adults is temper tantrums, and usually the temper tantrums come from because somebody else has set a boundary and they don't want to be told what they can do or what they can't do. And when you are setting a boundary and somebody is throwing a temper tantrum, an adult-sized temper tantrum, it's a disrespect. It's a defiant issue. Blaming others for their own inappropriate behavior. I act like this because so-and-so growing up, which is the worst excuse in the whole world. If you are an adult, you have control over your own behavior. And if you have to continue to blame things on your growing up, then you are not taking accountability for your actions as an adult, and those that you are projecting your bad mood onto someone else. Nobody else has to deal with your bad mood. Nobody else has to deal with your defiant issues. It's on you as an adult to get to the root cause of why you act the way that you do, during certain times of the year. Irritable moods. I have wondered about that, and working in the bar industry for years and years, too many years that I really care to talk about in this video. People drink. People have addictions because they are trying to soothe. They are trying to self-medicate the irritable moods. And anybody who has dealt with an alcoholic or somebody who is an addict, in the morning when they wake up, they are not in a good mood at all. They are very irritable. They are very grouchy. They are very aggravated. And as soon as they take that first drink, it's a dopamine fix. It's a comfort. It's a sugar that rises within their pancreas and their insulin, and they're getting a fix. And then the more that they drink, depending on the type of alcoholic that they are, either they're very jovial, the anger kind of rolls off their shoulders, they get a little bit looser, and then you pray to God that it's not going to erupt into a fight, or there's other anger issues, which then goes into that person with the defiant issue, combining it with an alcohol problem or a drug issue. They start to say very unkind things. They very, very much start talking in terms that are going to hurt you within that defiant issue, because they cannot get a handle on their own behavior. So what they will do is they will find the things that they know about you and be very hurtful on. They get vindictive. They get malevolent, I can't even say that word, and intent. They purposely will say things, use their words to hurt you. And then after things have exploded, then things can become aggressive, and there can be violence within that defiant issues. And I've said in the last couple of videos, people at work right now not being able to get a hold of their anger and the explosive behavior that is coming from these defiant issues, and that person never being accountable for why they are even angry to begin with. And then I was looking back to, these defiant issues. Usually we see these in children who do not want to behave. They don't want to follow a rule. They don't want to do what they're supposed to do. So, as I was reading all this, it says about 1/3 of children who experience a traumatic event develop a post-traumatic stress disorder. And other problems that can develop along with the post-traumatic stress disorder includes anxiety, depression, defiant behavior, the ADD and the hyperactive disorder. And then, they become teenagers, they become young adults, and then they introduce alcohol and drugs into their life. Now, as a person who has studied, different psychology things, and with my life coaching, and I have always said, I did not study these things to become a doctor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I use this learning that I took on to help with my art classes, and it's a right brain, left brain and thing, and why some people, are more creative and other people hold the logical part in their mind. And I've always said, once you open that flap between the two hemispheres of the brain, you have a brilliant individual. So as I had been studying these psychological things and with my life coaching training, and being more and more in the public, coming into contact with all these different people that I seem to have come into contact with that share the same defiant issues. So those are things I wanted to share this morning. I know I'm stumbling on my words. I got to go into work here a little bit, but it just, the trigger part of the holidays and being at peace and being calm in my own life, just kind of going through the motions and just kind of being really in my own joy this year. I'm going into work, it's a pleasant experience. Coming home, it's a pleasant experience. Being out by myself, driving me to wherever I need to go, it's a pleasant experience. There is no road rage. There is no somebody blurting out angrily things because their day has been miserable and they choose not to change the environment. So I hope that made sense what I was talking about. You can only reflect in your own life who you are associating with and who is projecting their issues onto you, and how it is triggering you. Is it triggering you? You know, we want to be able to get through this holiday. I see big things on the other side of this year. I see bigger plans and just more joy with the things that I am bringing not only to you, but those that have been coming in contact with me. If you would like to learn more about these things, you know, I briefly talk about them in my vision board class where we talk about character awareness. We talk about what triggers you and are you aware of what your trigger points are. You know, in my vision board class, it's $35 a person. You supply all the materials. I come to you. There must be a group of 10. With my painting class, even, you know, we talk about perception and perspective, how you can open that flap to the right brain and the left brain so you can be more creative in your life, so you can enjoy color, so you can bring those images to life through, you know, your technique that I am teaching you that you can transpose onto your canvas. That is $45 a person, and starting January, you must have a minimum of 8 at $45. The hostess being the ninth, yours is free. So I hope this video may help you when you are dealing with people who are angry this holiday season. You know, stop and think about where you are. Stop and just take some big, deep breaths and understand that their anger issues are not yours. You know, you continue to set your boundary and have your self-respect. And those that cannot abide by your boundary, there's a very good reason why that boundary needed to be set. So anyway, I am Kitryn Marie. I do reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an artist, a writer, speaker, life, and a business coach for today, for tomorrow. Be happy, be blessed, be thankful for all the wonderful things that do come into your life. Remember, fate does turn on a dime, and only you get to decide what side of the coin you want to be on. And I will hope to see you real soon. Bye.